Luminous, STEM beyond the globe.
It was taught that the way of progress was neither swift nor easy. Do you know who said this? I will give you a clue. She is a female STEM superhero and she is the first woman to win a Nobel Prize and also the only woman in history to ever win it not only once but twice. Not only that, she is the only human being to ever win a Nobel Prize in 2 different sciences. Maybe now you can guess who is she. She is none other than Marie Curie. Hey guys, welcome you all to the Luminous Echo podcast series by IEEE Women in Engineering Affinity Group of Sri Lanka Technological Campus. This podcast series is to encourage and inspire female undergraduates around the country. My name is Rashmi and today we are having our second show with a special person. Before we start our show, I want to mention that this podcast series will divide into 5 categories: women in engineering, women in IT, women in technology, women in science, and women in entrepreneurship. Today we will discuss about women in engineering, and for that we have a special guest here. So guys, meet our special personality for today's show, Is Dulani Chamika Withanage. I know that this show will be a life-changing for you and I hope that you will be encouraged by hearing Is Dulani's story and her life experiences. So let's get started. So guys, you are hearing the Luminous Echo podcast series by IEEE Women in Engineering Affinity Group of Sri Lanka Technological Campus, where we discussed about women in STEM. Today on the show, we have Ms. Dulani Chamika Withanage, and she is ready to share her story and experiences with us. So, hi Dulani, it's really nice to meet you and welcome to today's show. Yes, it's really nice to have you too. In the introduction, the only thing that I have mentioned was her name, because I thought it will be better to hear about herself from her own words. So tell us, who is this Dulani, and also your family background and the educational background?
Hi, I'm very glad that you invited me and I'm very honored to be here today.
Yeah, thank you. And in this introduction, I didn't mention anything about her. I said only her name because I thought it's better to hear about herself from her own words. So tell us, who is Dulani? And tell us about your family background and educational background.
Okay, thank you. I'm Dulani Chamika. Currently, I'm a PhD student in space engineering in Kyushu Institute of Technology, Japan. And probably most of you have heard about Ravana 1 satellite. And I'm one of the 2 engineers who built Ravana 1. If I talk about my family, my father worked as a group manager at Alis Group and my mother is a housewife and I have one sister. About my educational background, I did my bachelor in engineering in mechatronics at Asian Institute of Technology, Thailand. And then I did my Master of Science in Space Engineering in Kyushu Institute of Technology, Japan.
So, there should be a turning point that changes the lives of the most people. So, what is your turning point, and what your turning point that made an impact on your life?
Actually, my dream was always to study space engineering. When I was a kid, my father used to teach me how to recognize of stars, how to recognize planets, those kind of things. And was always curious about space. I was looking for scholarships and universities to study space engineering. But at that time, there was no place to study space engineering in Sri Lanka. I thought if I do bachelor's in mechatronics engineering, it will give me a good foundation to study space engineering later for master's or PhD. But mechatronics engineering was also not available in Sri Lanka at that time. So I chose Asian Institute of Technology, Thailand to do my bachelor's in mechatronics. And then I still did not stop looking for opportunities to study space engineering. And later on, when I was working in 𝕱𝕨 Institute for Modern Technologies as a research engineer, I applied for PNST scholarship. If I talk about PNST, it's a scholarship program by United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs and Government of Japan, conjunction with the Kyushu Institute of Technology, Japan. We call it as QTech. And at that time, 2 scholarships were given to study Master in Space Engineering in QTech, and I received 1. So I would say that is the turning point in my life.
I think that is kind of an inspirational turning point for all of our listeners. I think great experience for all our listeners that from her turning point, I think. Thank you for sharing those experiences with us. And my next question is the journey of your life where you reached this level of success, these obstacles you've gone through, and how you deal with them to overcome them.
There were many obstacles when you if you are targeting for something that you want to achieve, there will be obstacles coming in your way. But if I talk about the project Ravana 1, to make it successful, we had to work so hard. And during the project, sometimes the things don't go well as you expect. So I guess whenever the things don't go well, we should give ourselves, in my case, I used to give some time for myself, or taking a break and thinking in a different way always helps. And also I think my family was my strength all the time. So I mean, whenever you come up with obstacles in your life or challenges, all you have to do is hang on, and you just don't give up and think in a different way.
Then what is your greatest strength in your life?
It's a difficult question. Okay, if the greatest strengths are I think I'm good in learning new skills and facing challenges. Also, working under pressure.
So, my next question is accomplishments in your life which made you proud.
The accomplishment in my life is Ravana 1 satellite. Ravana 1 is a very successful project. Ravana 1 was built under 𝕚𝕬 satellite project, which was led by Kyushu Institute of Technology, Japan. And 𝕚𝕬 project had 3 satellites: Ravana 1, Nepalisat 1, and 𝕚𝕬𝕠𝕠𝕠. And the stakeholder of Ravana 1 is 𝕱𝕨 Institute for Modern Technology, Sri Lanka. Ravana 1 was deployed to the orbit on 17 June 2019, and all the 𝕚𝕬 satellites, including Ravana 1, re-entered the atmosphere in October 2021. That means last year. And Ravana 1 was able to take several pictures of Sri Lanka and well as the other parts of the world. It was actually very nice to see our own country from our own satellite. So I think Ravana 1 is my main accomplishment. And from Ravana 1, my dream was always to study space engineering. So from Ravana 1, I learned how to build a satellite from the scratch, and how to test a satellite. There are several testing before you launch a satellite, and how to operate the satellite from the ground station when the satellite is in the orbit. Operating means, when I say ground station operation, that means that we have to send commands to the satellite to do the missions, which we call uplink. And then also we have to downlink the data from the satellite, which we call downlink. So I learned all the parts through everything about till the operation of a satellite from Ravana 1. And after the deployment to the orbit, I was able to operate Ravana 1 from beginning to end, from Q-Tech ground station. And also I was able to do the very last operation for Ravana 1 from the ground station at Kyushu Institute of Technology before re-entry. So being part of Ravana 1 and like seeing your own country from your own satellite is but I think that is my main accomplishment so far.
Thank you so much for sharing that valuable experience with us. And my next question is, the major problem for women is work-life balance. So how did you balance your work and your personal life while reaching this amount of success?
So when you talk when we say work and personal life is like giving time for yourself and for your family. That's what I think. And also when it comes to work, your responsibility at your work. So since I was away from my family, it was a bit tough. There were many challenges. During the project Ravana 1, I worked day and night to make it successful. And also me and my other team members, 𝕚ᴜ team members, did ground station operations for Ravana 1 and 𝕚₃ satellites even at 2, 3, 4 a.m. So it was a tough life, but at the same time, we have to take a break for our personal life too. Like taking breaks or going on a small trip always gave me time to refresh, and also talking to family. And then also I enjoyed daily work such as preparing my meals and doing grocery shopping. I think making priorities and making working according to that helps you to balance the life. Also enjoying what you are doing is an also important factor. Also I guess it is all about how you manage your time, and sometimes you have to be very strong too. That's how I think you have to according to my experience, that's how we can balance our personal life and the work life.
Okay, and all of us, we have an iconic character in our lives as well. Like we are inspired by them. Like you inspired us. So have you drawn professional inspiration from other women? So who inspired you to become this successful woman?
There are many women engineers in space engineering, and some astronauts, some women astronauts, and the women who are really working in the space engineering field. So I would say they all inspired me.
So my last question, we have come to the last question of today's show. So the last question is the takeaway message that you have to give the present generation as a successful woman in this engineering sector.
In this engineering section, I would say to anyone who is listening to this podcast, we can't achieve our targets or dreams in one day, and it's a process. We have to understand that everything is a process. It might take some time to get there, so patience is important. Make sure every step you take is in the right direction. Take small steps. There will be moments where things don't go well as you expect, but don't lose hopes and don't give up, and you will get there. If you are not interested in what you are doing, you will eventually get fed up. So make sure that you are following your passion. Choose wisely. After choosing your field, commitment is very important. Also, don't expect every person you meet in your life to support you. There are paths that you have to walk along. That is my advice for everyone who is listening to this podcast.
Okay, guys, so it was Dulani's story, and with that, we have come to the end of our show. Miss Dulani, thank you so much for joining with us. We had a great time with you, and I think our listeners have learned a loads of things from your life story and experiences. So, thank you again for joining us today, dedicating your valuable time. So, guys, we have come to the end of our show. I hope you all found today's show more valuable and important. Keep in touch with us. Let's meet with another great show with another special guest like today very, very soon. Until then, take care and stay safe, everyone. Bye bye. I'm Rashmi signing off from second show of Luminous Echo podcast series.